I guess we could start over here. This is Michael. You work at Nissan. What
Yes,
do you do
I
at Nissan?
I am the senior manager for our brand management car line marketing. So formerly I had GTR and Z, and currently working on our Sentra and Armada projects.
Well, I'm a big fan of your work. Today we are in the Nissan Heritage Collection, and we're going to walk around and talk about some old Nissans. Starting off, well, before they were Nissan, is Datsun. So the cool thing about this collection is that they're all pretty much, I think all except for a couple cars back there, are all North American specs. So these were all cars that were sold here, which is very, very cool. I don't know a whole lot about these.
I don't know a ton. For me, anytime I see the Fairlady name, though, I think it's one of our cooler badges that we have in our lineup.
I didn't even know that there was a Datsun Fairlady before.
Fairlady Sport. It's definitely anytime I get to be around anything with that name, whether it's that or a Z, it's one of my favorite things.
So when you guys are working on modern cars, are you looking at these cars at all for like inspiration, or like, I know you work on modern Z, with that sharing the Fairlady name way back in the day, like, is that on your mind?
It is. For those of us, it is definitely. I think the heritage, walking through here, it's inspiring, especially for someone that grew up around these cars. I had a 350Z. My dad had a 82Z before that. It's paying homage to what was there before, but making it a little bit different.
This wagon, I love these old Datsun wagons. I don't know why, but they just look perfect. Oh, little Datsun pickup too. I assume a 1960 per the license plate. But these are just so cool.
I'm impartial to the old Datsun trucks.
Oh yeah, we'll get to those in a second, because this is more like, I understand these more than I do these. These are like so before my time, and they're so hard to find too.
Yes.
The Datsuns, it feels like Datsuns rotted out more than other cars, because they're just like, all the ones that I've seen have just been so rusty or just gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people realize the nostalgia they were gonna have. Like your typical, you drove a Mustang or a Camaro, right? There was a nostalgia there, and people are really beginning to discover it these days on a lot of our stuff and other JDM.
Yeah. So now this is the stuff that I kind of understand a little better. 1990 Pathfinder, which I did a review of, so that will be up on the channel. Very excited about that. That had the dealer optional roof rack, which is like so 80s. I love it. Nissan hardbody.
With the, speaking of 80s, the bars in the back and the bars up front. It would not be an 80s truck.
Was this a Nissan optional part? I don't know. I'll be honest, walking through here, I'm realizing there's a lot about my own trucks that I just don't have the answer to. Well, I mean, how could you? But this is really cool. I like this lighter blue. This to me, this is the kind of hard bodies that I grew up with, like single cab, shorty.
Yep, two-wheel drive.
2.4 liter.
Just a workhorse.
Yeah, every gardener had one of these. So like this. Have you ever seen Hands on a Hard Body, by the way? Oh, I have a movie for you to watch.
Seems like I get to watch something tonight.
There's a movie called Hands on a Hard Body. It was filmed down in Texas in the 90s. There was a dealership that would run a promotion every year. Last person to take their hand off the truck won the truck. And it ended up, I don't want to spoil it, I think it goes over 2 days long. And you see these people start to get delirious. There's one part where everyone just starts laughing for no reason in the movie, because they've been up for 60 hours or something. It's really, really cool. So this reminds me, because there's a base truck down in Texas of that movie. So I would highly recommend anyone watching to watch Hands on a Hard Body, which sounds like something you would have to pay extra at a hotel for.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going in the conversation with that. I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to comment.
It's Quentin Tarantino's favorite documentary. Fun fact. This is a Nissan Patrol. I also did a video of this truck. This is cool. I learned from the plaque on the inside, the Nissan Patrol, not this specific one, was the first vehicle to climb Mount Fuji in Japan. 4 liter straight six, very big boy. You said these are the trucks that you want?
So these are the trucks, specifically that light green kind of beigeish color would be, if I could find one in good shape today, this would actually be one of my top vehicles to restore over a lot of other things.
I never knew that Datsun just had a D logo on their stuff. But all of these, again, like much like the wagon over there, like these just look so good. I don't know if it's the dual headlight look. Kind of like reminds me of like the Hako a little bit, but in this color, green is great too. This is a very special truck that I have a review of. So I reviewed this, the Patrol, and the Pathfinder. This is the first North American Nissan ever made. It rolled off the assembly line at Smyrna, right?
Yeah, Smyrna, Tennessee.
Smyrna, Tennessee, June 16th, 1983. This was the first Nissan built in North America, which is so incredibly special. And you guys were saying you're up to what, almost 6 million?
That's what I was just told the other day. So I'm hoping that's right. But I will tell you, as an employee for Nissan, I didn't even know this truck was here.
Yeah.
And seeing that's what gives us. You see stuff like this, and it makes you go back and work on your own projects.
Yeah.
And it gives you a little bit of oomph for the next day.
This thing, because I just drove in the parking lot, which I did 0.3 miles in it. So I am part of this car's mileage. It has like 800 miles on it, which is just so incredibly cool. But
welcome to the heritage.
I know. Moving along, we can probably, I don't want to cut through the cars just for mirror's sake, but we're moving into some of the middle ground stuff in there. I'm trying to see. I know those two cars are Job 1 cars. Oh, we have another Nissan hardbody. A lot of love for the hardbody here. Ooh, SEV6. I don't remember what this extra cab was called because every brand had their own. Mitsubishi was the space cab. Toyota was the extra cab.
It was the extra cab. Then you had King Cab.
This is King Cab, I think.
Cab,
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Oh, man. The red on red,
I was
man.
going to say red on red. I just had an X50 that was red on red, which is what happens when you let your 11-year-old pick your car.
Oh, man. Love a good hard body. We'll try to squeeze back here. I don't want to get too close to some of the cars. I know this is the first Job 1 North American Sentra, I believe. And then that's first Altima.
Correct.
I think.
I'm fairly certain.
I'm trying to remember what Jonathan told me. Oh, yeah, Sentra Job 1, built March 26, 1985. So there you go. That is the first Sentra.
This one doesn't have a cool plaque to tell us.
Oh, I believe, because he said these two were Job 1s. I just don't remember the year. So that's very, very special. This Maxima, you know, everyone always says, oh, the 80s were like all synthwave and colorful. And I always say, no, the 80s were brown. Brown on brown for the Datsun by Nissan Maxima. And it is a 5-speed. These were also rear-wheel drive, too, which I think the only generation of Maxima that was rear-wheel. Gotta love brown on brown.
I want to say I had an aunt with a brown on brown Maxima.
Something also kind of cool about these is that they talk to you. They have like the voice, whatever.
Yes.
But in this one, it's a wax disc under. So it's a wax disc under the dash. And I drove an 84, and it would get so hot under there that it would warp. So it would be like headlights are raw, and it would sound demonic. I have no idea what this is.
Datsun 810.
810. Kind of has like a Mazda RX-5 looking front end, which I guess is just 70s Japanese car. This is giving E-Type. Like this section right here could almost be mistaken for E-Type.
Yeah, your 2x2.
Oh yeah, so it has the longer roofline. I don't think I've ever seen one of these this clean. Wow. And then this is an Xterra that is super clean, which is funny because Jonathan was like, oh, do you want to do a review of this? And I was like, nah, I did one that was on fire. He was like, you'll never find a cleaner one. And I'm like, you're right. I cannot find a cleaner one. I guess right here is normally the Job 1 Nissan Leaf, he said?
Yes.
So the first ever Nissan Leaf is normally parked here, but it is out for some type of event or shoot or something. This is now getting into your era.
This is into my era and my realm. A little bit before my time. The proto spec was right at the beginning of my stuff. Obviously, the generation of the Z that I was in charge of. But I had a 350. I had one of the first years. It was one of the cars that my dad purchased. I think he was like one of the original people in Southern California to get one.
That's awesome. Don't want to knock over Mr. I don't know who this is. Mr. Z. So this is the Z Proto. So this was like...
This is the first of 240 that we brought out. So we've done numerous special editions.
Okay.
This would be your first one of the first year. Since then, we've done the Orange Heritage Edition and the one that I just brought out, which was the Midnight Purple Heritage.
So that was you.
That I got to launch that vehicle.
Yeah.
I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to have too much input on what was on it by the time I inherited the project. But we've done some really cool Heritage Editions on Z.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the best is yet to come because I haven't been able to leave my mark as I would like yet.
Well, except for the color green, if I remember correctly. You named a color.
Yes, we had a naming committee, and it was my Shinkai green that will be on the next model Z.
Gotcha.
Coming out here in 5 or 6 months or so. My idea got funneled up, so that is my current mark on the auto industry.
So while we're going to take a look at these 3 Zs here, which are all production Zs, I believe, can you talk us through what it takes to make a special edition? Like, are you just throwing ideas on a whiteboard and then someone circles one and you say, hey, let's do that?
I'm a little bit more downstream in the process. But we have a group of people, and essentially you have our product teams that are 100% responsible for each project. So amongst their team, and in conjunction with anywhere that car is sold and Japan, it's coming up with things that we believe would pay heritage or that people would want. Hence the midnight purple, bringing back that iconic color.
Such a good color.
But making it just enough difference where it stands on its own.
Yeah, exactly. That's so cool. Do you feel a different weight on your shoulders working on Z as you do Sentra? Because Sentra, like, everyone's had a Sentra. Everyone knows. Like, it's a car. This is like such a heritage part of Nissan. Do you feel that weight, or are you just trying to do the best and call it a day?
I don't know if I feel the weight for me, having some Zs in the family before, being a guy that grew up on Gran Turismo and, having these cars in video games that I've played, like Forza. I don't know if it's weight, but like really cool aspect for my 16-year-old self that, hey, one day there may be a car in a video game with a color that I named.
Yeah, that's super cool. The good old 350. Is this the launch orange? I remember the launch orange being closer to that color.
I thought it was closer to copper.
Yeah, still a great color. This is the first R35 in the United States. Was brought in for the LA Auto Show, and they weren't even making left-hand drive versions yet. So for the auto show, they brought a right-hand drive R35, which is pretty freaking sweet.
It's pretty cool, considering we have the last of the two outside.
Yes.
And the Takumi and the Skyline Edition,
Yeah,
which I helped launch towards the end as well.
So what were the differences in launching Z products as opposed to GTR products? Was it like night and day difference, or was it just kind of sending the same message to different groups of people?
I think for me, because by the time I inherited GTR, the only thing that I had left to do was really the last 150 units.
Gotcha.
And it was really the exclusivity of it.
Sure.
And the people that came out and said they wanted to be a part of having one. Getting one for someone who was wanting to do a documentary and like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And you really felt the weight of this is a supercar, and there's a huge following behind it, and rightly so.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very, very cool to be standing in front of one of the first and having shown up today in one of the last. You know, it's the whole encompassing of the R35 is just surreal. That's so cool. I won't grill you on future product, don't worry. 370Z, and then this is the prototype for the 350Z, which again, Jonathan, he's the curator here, was telling me that this did not get good reception. People did not really care for it. It was supposed to be a modern version of the old, 280, 260, 240. I kind of dig it.
I dig it. I like the throwback. But having had a 350Z, I'm really glad where we ended up.
Oh, 100%. Like, the 350Z is a great product, but looking at this, I'm like, this is pretty cool. And this is full concept and all that stuff. Do you know what chassis this is?
I do not.
This is an S14 underneath. It has the KA under it. KA the world, baby. This is an S14 underneath with an NA, KA 2.4, just as a rolling. So theoretically, this concept does drive, which is not always the case, and we'll talk about with those over there. But yeah, and then we have the world's smallest Z, I would assume. Although it has pretty decent space in there.
I'm really glad I don't have my kids here because they would be crawling in that and trying to drive it.
I'm almost crawling in trying to get that, so. Bunch of memorabilia here. Of course, really, really cool to see through the decades kind of how the brand images changed and whatnot. All the glory to the race cars and GTRs. These are interesting. These are imported from Japan. What I was told was that Nissan, I think it was in the 90s, 1999. They wanted to basically see if anyone had interest in electric cars. So these are electric K cars from Japan. This one does not have a battery anymore. I believe this one does. Either way, they don't really run anymore. This is how you would charge it. It's this big disc-looking thing because there wasn't any infrastructure. And Nissan ultimately decided that at the time in the 90s, there wasn't really much interest. GM was trying something similar with the EV1 at the time, so these are just some prototypes they brought in and didn't really do much with, but still very cool. This is another electric prototype, I believe. I don't quite know much about it. But that's
I don't even remember that car.
So sometimes automakers will bring in stuff to test. Do you ever work with any of that stuff? Are you ever pulling from European markets or anything?
Not for what I do.
Gotcha.
I mean, I see it. I'll see some stuff here and there, like in the garage.
Yeah.
Like they brought in some Qashqais not too long ago.
Yeah, I was bummed because they let some journalists drive the Qashqais, and I missed that event. And I wanted to drive one so bad because it was a foreign market car.
I didn't get to drive one either.
You and me both. Can you talk a little bit about working on cars that are going to be multi-market cars? Do you have to keep that in consideration of this is going to sell here and Japan. Japan is going to want USB-A. We're going to want USB-C, like that sort of thing.
It is. I never knew until I started in my more recent roles. You think being part of the marketing team, you come up with an idea and great, you'll execute it. And then you realize you have to check with other markets.
Sure.
So certain colors, hey, maybe we want to have a different shade of silver on a car. We want to go with a little bit darker, but a market needs that specific shade of silver because it's an approved taxi shade. I got to learn that question. I got to learn that the hard way of when I was looking at colors on a different model.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with a darker silver, not quite as dark gray, and kind of just find something in between the two. And it turns out, it said they needed that car for a very specific purpose in a different market.
Huh.
So and you're sharing platforms, you're sharing colors.
Yeah.
So
I
that
never
was
would have thought of
I
that.
never would have
Yeah.
thought of that. These are like little interesting things to me that come up. Or if it's a market that is more deserty and hot, that's the reason sometimes why we'll have multiple and 2, 3 interior colors.
Yeah.
Because we have to develop them for other markets anyway.
Interesting. So like maybe vehicles in the Middle East might have lighter interiors just because it gets so incredibly hot. Gotcha. Okay.
It's not just Phoenix.
So a bunch of, these are M30s. I've driven a handful of these. They're great. They have VG30s in them, which I love that engine, which is also in that Z car. Convertible and a hard top. I wonder if one of them's manual. I don't know. But very, very cool. You don't see a whole lot of M30s anymore. I don't know how I've actually filmed 2 of them in my time here. So these are concept cars, very obviously. This one doesn't run. It has to be pulled around, which seems like a big pain. But this one apparently has a Nissan Leaf drivetrain. So this is an electric Infiniti concept car that looks like a 1930s like bullet car. That's cool.
Infiniti does some cool concepts.
Yeah.
And these two. So I remember, this is the first time I've seen them in person.
Yeah.
But I've obviously seen the advertisement and the posters that we have up around the office, and now I'm standing here and I'm like, I finally got to see the real thing.
This is, I mean, both of these are really, really special and cool. And I love, silver is just such an Infiniti color. Like it looks so smooth. It looks like it's dripping sitting there. So cool. I'm gonna jump this rope. Don't yell at me. Huh. Oh, this is cool. It has the gauges in the middle of the steering wheel. All right, this thing is sweet. And if it has a Nissan Leaf drivetrain, this thing's probably decently quick with how light it is. Jeez Louise. I would hate that steering wheel. That's a bad steering wheel. I don't think it actually does anything, but Nissan Murano original concept. You can see, it's very, very, I love concept cars. I love that you can actually see like the headlights and grille pretty much made it to production on this one. I mean, like in that.
A lot of it, yeah. To the original Murano that we brought out.
Do you work with concept cars at all?
I see them after they're made.
Okay.
And by working with them, if I'm on the project, I'll see a lot of the pictures ahead of time. But not, again, I'm a little more, on the marketing side, by the time I see it, we're thinking, how can we bring it to market?
Sure. These tires are crazy.
I was going to say, these tires are...
I don't know how much
okay.
Yeah. This is an interesting concept. This was, I believe, the first Nissan concept penned in North America. So this was the North American design team's first go at it, which is interesting because it has these 2 cubbies on the side that say stuff and things. The things one goes through the truck to the other side. Rivian did that.
I was going to say
2 decades later.
2 decades later, and it's now a thing.
And everyone's like, "Oh, gotta have the gear tunnel. Gotta have the gear tunnel." Nissan invented the gear tunnel. What? This has to be like late '90s, just off of the color palette. I know we're not supposed to close this door because they're electronic and they won't open again. But there you go. That's the interior. What? Hello. Why does it have 3 pedals? Don't tell me this is stick. I mean, maybe it was like
That's a manual.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, and I just noticed these latches, these bed sides fold down. This is cool. You guys should just put it in production. There you go. Market research done. I'd buy one. Murano Cross Cabriolet, because you got to have one. 240SX in the corner, 300ZX. Is this a Q50?
That is a Q50. I couldn't tell you much more about it other than it looks gorgeous.
So Jonathan told me this is a concept. It is the only Q50 that got the GTR drivetrain. And it's documented, Sebastian Vettel ripped on this thing through the city of Austin for a promo because he was racing for Red Bull in F1. Red Bull's title sponsor for a while was Infinity. Apparently he ripped on this car, and apparently the tune is a little off now. Apparently Seb did a little bit of damage to this thing, which is not the first time. I once drove an NSX Type R that Max Verstappen had driven, and it needed an $18,000 brake job. So the F1 drivers are not very kind to us regular folk automobiles.
No, but they give us great stories.
That is very true. And the last two cars of the collection, an old Z and a Datsun B210. I love both of them. This is just I love that they're parked next to each other too, because this is just such an era for Datsun. And kind of the end of Datsun, or at least the Datsun name, obviously transitioning to Nissan. This is so cool. Which one would you take home? I don't think it's actually much of a contest, but.
I'm gonna go blue.
Really?
Only because you don't see any of them.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, it wouldn't cooperate for a video today, which is completely understandable. They're old cars, but you don't see these at all. I've never
seen one on the road.
Yeah.
And being part of ZCon this last year, I've been around a few of those.
Yeah.
Also, my dad used to have one, so it was in the family at some point. This is new to me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very, very special because you just don't see these at all. 4-speed. Has the radio. The Job 1 truck had the radio delete. I don't know where you guys found this one, unless this one was held from new. I don't know where you would find one of these in this good condition. But there you go. That is the Nissan Heritage Collection. What a remarkable room for a remarkable brand.